So, hey, everybody. I am so happy to have you guys on the call tonight. We have a guest speaker this month. We've kind of had a theme of different guest speakers that aren't necessarily talking 100% about the Beachbody business. However, they have the tools and some tips on how to help you with your business. And everybody's at different seasons and different levels of with their business as far as time goes, rank, team size. So this might not be something that is necessarily something that you're going to jump on now, but keep in mind in the future. A few announcements before we get started. We literally are in the end of the month. It's flying by, which is crazy. Somebody posted today that we had, I think, 38 days left before Summit, which is just insane. This will be my fourth Summit, and I am super excited. Last year was kind of a blur with everything I had going on personally, and I was really sick. So I'm really excited to be there and be with so many coaches that this is their first time coming. I wanted to congratulate Valerie Rippey on advancing to Ruby last week. Major error on my part that I missed that alert. But we are rocking and rolling in our third week of our rank advancement training group. I'm seeing so many leaders step up, and I'm loving the interaction, and that the people who joined the group who said that they wanted to run their business and work hard at leadership are actually still doing it. It's so amazing, because that's one thing that's been disappointing in the past, that after day 2 or 3 it kind of gets quiet. But thank you for everyone for your participation and just really stepping outside of your comfort zone. So anyways, I'm going to turn it over to Kristen now, and then at the end, whenever she's done, if you have any questions for her, that's fine. And if you have any questions that you want to talk about team-wise, after she's done, I'll open it up Q&A as well. I'm going to unmute you, Kristen, and do you need to share your screen?
No, actually, I figured I would just talk with everyone, and I'll share some links in the chat box when I have some things to drop in there. Can everyone hear me okay? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay, perfect. So I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Kristen Barr. I am from Central Wisconsin, if you can't already hear it in my accent. Hey, yay, Wisconsin. So I am actually also a Beachbody coach. I'm an Emerald. I've been actively working the business for a little while. However, more recently, I have been helping others brand their business as opposed to working my own, which is both a good and a bad thing. So today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about branding. If you have any questions while I'm talking, please feel free to just go ahead and drop them in the chat box. I don't want this to feel like super formal at all. I'd be happy to answer questions as I go. So branding, a lot of people misunderstand branding and logos. So a lot of people associate your brand as your logo. While that is true for a lot of big companies, it's recognition. You know, you see the Target bullseye anywhere, you're going to recognize it. You're going to know what it's about. Other things like the Nike swoosh, they've done a lot to brand themselves and make their brand recognizable. However, they've also done some other things that allow them to be recognizable without seeing that logo. So whenever Target markets, they always market in red. You could see a Target commercial without the bullseye and see the red and know it was Target. So another thing that they do is brands speak to a very specific audience. You know, you don't see Nike marketing to, you know, people, at least very often. You don't see Nike marketing to people who aren't active. You know, their main target market is active people who are going to wear their clothing, whether it's in an athletic setting or in a, you know, a casual clothing setting. So branding is something that you can do in your Beachbody business in order to set yourself out from the crowd. I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that the growth and the rise of at-home businesses, whether they be multi-level marketing or just entrepreneurs, has grown. And you see it in your news feeds every day. So if I could get a hands up from anyone who saw a non-Beachbody home-based business post in their news feed today, because I saw a whole boatload of them. I know one of our competitors is having a really big sale right now, and I saw a whole lot of that posting going on my newsfeed. So I'm sure he did too. Now, to me, every single one of those posts that I saw looked the same. A lot of them used similar images. They used all of their company's brand coloring, which is totally fine. However, if you want to stand out, you need to allow yourself to do so with the way that you brand your business. So a couple things I want to talk about as far as branding today is that it's not just a logo. You need to focus on what you want your business to be about. Who do you want to speak to? What do you want to sound like? What does your voice sound like? And who are you targeting with that audience? So I have a couple of things that I ask my clients when I start working with them to start thinking about branding and to start thinking about where they want to go with their business and their brand. So I'm going to just kind of walk through a couple of those things and then round it out on how you can use these particular items to gather kind of what the base of what you want your brand to look like. The first one is a visual brand. Now, people automatically jump to a logo. When you get into Beachbody, you see a lot of, what you would term the successful coaches having logos, having very fancy graphic design, which is awesome. That's what I do. As my day job, I'm a graphic artist. So I love that. I love making those. They're probably one of the most fun things that I do. But it's not only what your brand is about. One thing that you can do is consistently use color, design, and images to make your brand recognizable. So something I like to talk to my clients about is to take a look at Pinterest. Now, obviously, it's an awesome tool and you can spend hundreds of thousands of hours and days on it. But what I like to tell them to do is go ahead and make a private board on your Pinterest and gather things that catch your eye, whether it's colors, patterns, even just pictures that make you feel a certain way, that's how you want your brand to feel when you express it outwardly to your audience. It's a good way to just keep those all in the same spot. Different fonts. If you see a logo that you like or are inspired by, go ahead and throw that in a Pinterest folder, because if at any time, once you get ready to actually create a formal visual brand, you'll have all those things ready to go from the get-go. Another thing is to get inspired by other coaches. Obviously, we have a lot of really great role models as far as branding in Beachbody. So take a look around at other coaches who are doing a really consistent job of branding their images, whether it's formally or informally. One I know that is inside my organization is Kelsey Winter. She is, I think now maybe a 5 or 6 star diamond, but she does a really excellent job with branding her images, whether it's just a small caption or a design. I always notice her images in my newsfeed because they're always branded. They're rarely ever just plain. She always has something on them. Her quotes match, everything like that. I can always tell when she's posting, even if I don't see her name. Another thing that you can do to kind of start getting an idea of what you want your brand to be like is sit down and write a brief description about what you feel your business is about. Who are the people that you want to help? Now, with the majority of us on this call being women, a lot of us are probably moms. Do you want to help moms? I am a former college athlete. Do you want to help athletes? Do you want to help people who have past history with eating disorders? Do you want to help, get specific about who you want to help in your business. Some people think that they, are niching down is the industry term too far. But there are a lot of people in this world, and there are a lot of people who have those specific issues. And if you put yourself out there enough, they're going to find you. So whether that's you want to help people who are vegetarians or vegans, or shoot, you want to help people who have dogs, whatever it is, that however you want to connect with your audience, start writing that down and kind of start writing a quote unquote mission statement about what it is. What is your elevator pitch? I want to help. I want to help single moms who have a past history of eating disorders. I want to help them get fit and eat healthy. What is your your one-liner of what you want to do in your Beachbody business. Now, it obviously doesn't have to just be one line, but once you start getting clearer about who your audience is and what you're passionate about, it's going to help you build that brand out, and it's going to help you determine what you want to post about. Another thing that I find helpful is to, and you may already do this might seem like a no-brainer, but the designer in me, this really helps me out a lot when I start building out people's brands, is keep a lookbook or a folder of all of your 10-star pictures. Like when you take a workout shot of yourself, or you take a selfie and you're like, wow, that one is awesome, I need to post it right now. Keep those, because those are really helpful in creating branding collages and creating, challenge group posts and doing all those kinds of things. And more importantly, keep your before and afters, and take good ones, because in my team group, we were just sharing, one of the coaches was doing a call about an informational call on the 21-day fix. And she was asking for people to share their results. One of the coaches was just kicking herself that she didn't include her face in her before and after shots, because they ended up being so good. And she was really disappointed that she didn't include her face, because everyone out there makes that, well, that's not really you claim. I could tell it's her, but she was just kicking herself she didn't do that. So make sure that you keep really good before and after shots. It's something that's going to help you in the long run. Tips for taking before and afters. I'm sure, Beachbody gives some really good ones. If you can do it in front of a more blank or monotone wall, if in the future, if you want to work with the designer, it really helps us, cut you out of the picture. It's a little bit easier to do it that way. If you're in front of, a more blank or plain wall, if you want to exclude the background. Light is super important. Obviously, I'm in a really crappy lit room right now because you can barely see my face in the image, but, get one of those cool, the fancy selfie cases. And, I got this one on eBay for $20 and it's originally $50. So, they even make really nice lights that you can attach to your computer or your phone or your iPad or a tripod or anything like that for pretty reasonable if you ever want to get that fancy with your photography. One of the last things that I think is really important is find a phrase or a quote, or even if it's just a word that you really connect with, whether or not it's something other people are going to like. If you're passionate about it, whether it's, it can be something really simple. One of the girls in the organization I'm a part of, hers is legitimately never give up. And she writes that on every single one of her pictures. It's involved in all of her quotes. And obviously that's a really common phrase, but she had a former challenger of hers send her a shirt because it said never give up on it. So obviously that person connected with that quote and, she made it part of her brand in her business. So those are some things that you can kind of start doing. I see people posting blurry dark pics all the time. They make you don't want to stop and read what they say. Exactly. Obviously sometimes you can't help it. If you're posting for accountability, then it kind of is what it is. If you finish your workout at 10 o'clock at night and the only light you have on in your room is, your $10 Walmart lamp, well, you've got what you got, at that point. But when you're trying to take really good, pictures for posts, especially if they're, you're putting yourself out there, or you're making yourself, you're making yourself vulnerable to your audience. Make sure you're using a really great picture, and again, it doesn't mean you have to look good. It doesn't mean you need to be happy. It doesn't mean you need to be in fitness clothing. It doesn't even mean you need to have makeup on or your hair done, anything. just make sure it's good quality, because that's what people are going to look at. Any questions about pictures or image posting or anything like that?
I just want to add kind of one thing, piggybacking off of what you said, is that I literally, for me, I always teach people that I'm training that whenever you're posting something, post something, think before you post it where, would you stop and read it? Would you stop scrolling? Would you stop what you're doing to read the post? Because, maybe I might not, but you're really basically speaking to other people out there like yourself, and everybody's a little bit different. But for me, I had a coach a long time ago that every day she was posting her workout picture at like 5 o'clock in the morning. It was super dark, super blurry. She was using the forward camera like this instead of, or the one facing her. So it was super blurry. And, I finally had a discussion with her because I'm like, you can't even see your face. And it, every day, every morning I wake up and there you are in my news feed. And it was constructive criticism. But her point was, well, I'm trying to show that I'm being consistent, that I'm, doing the 3 vital behaviors, which is now 4. But, the biggest thing is when you become predictable, you become white noise. You don't brand yourself. You don't stand out. And so, like she said, you don't have to be happy or, anything. You have to be yourself, but you also have to be where you can see somebody, because it's, you figure just like in real life, if somebody's standing in the back of the room in the shadows and you can kind of see them, you're not going to go up and probably talk to them. But if they're standing there, with a smile on their face or a brightly colored shirt or a shirt with a funny saying on it, then their chances are going to pay attention to you. And I kind of liken it that way. So just be very mindful with what you post. You can always change it up, like she was saying, with sayings or different backgrounds or different clothing or something, just so that even if you work out every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, you can take a picture when the sunlight comes up or when your kids get up or something, and have it, be different every day, even though you're working out at the same time every day. So I hope that made sense. That's all I have to say.
No, totally. And I mean, you don't want to look like a creeper in your photos. I mean, like Mindy just said, if you don't think someone's going to want to come up to you on the street, maybe don't post that picture. Some other creative things, and I'm sure you guys have seen all this stuff, but if you're getting up super early in the morning, you're not going to have a good quality picture. Well, snap a picture of your gym clothes laid out the night before. Take a picture of your workout shoes, your Fitbit. I take a picture of my Fitbit all the time. Mindy, I've seen you do that as well. Take a picture of, your Shakeology setup. Posting consistently doesn't always mean posting the same thing. So just make sure that you're changing up your content, because you want to be consistent, but snapping a Shakeology selfie every morning is great. I mean, it's good that you're drinking your shake, but that's not the kind of content that people are going to come to your page every day to see. It's not what they're not going to stop and read that post, because they're going to be like, oh, and go in, do so in a way that allows people to connect with you, but at the same time to understand that you're making the effort to provide them with quality content, if that makes any sense. I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions. I'm going to drop a couple of links into the chat box, and I'll add them into the event as well. I do have a free gift for you guys for jumping on the call with me today. I put together a big PDF of resources for running your business online. So whether it's graphic design tools, stock photo websites, places that you can look to have your own website if that's something that you're interested in the future. Just a big list of tools that you can use for your business. So I'll drop a link to where you guys can get that. I will add my website as well as my email. And you guys are certainly more than welcome to reach out to me with any questions. If any of you are interested in, jumping on the phone and just talking through your business and your brand, I'd certainly be happy to do that. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and drop those in there, but please feel free to either, jump on the audio or type in a question into the chat box.
If you have a question, just unmute yourself. Does anybody have anything? No? Well, thank you so much for spending time with us, Kristen, and thank you too so much for the resources. That's very valuable. Guys, reach out to her because I know she's been helping other coaches. So if you're struggling with your business, these are the resources to have. I'm not sure what she charges, but I'll say this. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, that if you treat this like a business, it'll pay like a business. And if you've never worked on social media or been a business owner, then there's the resources that you have to find so that you can become better at it. I see so many people who say, oh, I suck at collages, or I suck at writing, or I suck at this. Well, I sucked at pretty much everything that I'm good at now in coaching. And I just had to do it with practice. And when I started, I didn't have these resources. We didn't have weekly team calls. We didn't have calls from our upline. So now that we have these resources, you can just do a super amazing job and succeed at a faster pace. But, once you treat this like a business and learn to invest, or set aside a budget for investing in your business and things that are going to definitely help you, you're going to see it pay out. And it's going to be very productive. I wouldn't tell you that if I didn't believe it, but I've been making sure that I've set a budget aside each quarter, and I'm not getting myself overwhelmed, and really looking at the things that I need help with, and reaching out to the people who can help me. And so I just hear from a lot of people out there that they, don't know what their market is. They aren't good on social media. They don't know what to post. And so here's a resource. So, I try to give you a lot of solutions or different ways to get around that. So are you sure you don't have any questions?
I'll jump in quickly one more second. I do a lot of work from a lot of different ranges. So I do branding packages where I do cover photos. I do challenge group photos. So if you're looking to start kind of basic, I have a couple of options there, as well as if you're looking to really step your game up and work with someone more, one-on-one, there's an option for that too. In that link that I sent with my free resource there, once you drop your email in, it will send you the download. Then you'll also get a follow-up email from me with a survey, kind of that lets me, if you're interested in even just chatting with me about your business, you can fill out that survey and it'll just give me a little bit more information on where you're at and where you're looking to go. And we can kind of go from there.
Hey, Kristen, this is Robin Peacock. Thank you so much for all of the information. This is amazing. I just want to know, are you available in the evenings for appointments if we want to get together with you and talk? Because I am still working my day job right now and am trying to transition out of that. So I don't have a lot of daytime time available.
No, totally. Definitely available in the evenings. I'm also going to stick around online here for the next hour or so. So you can either pop in the event invitation and drop a question. Otherwise, feel free to shoot me a message and we can chat that way too.
Cool. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, so thank you again very much for your time. I'm copied, and I'm going to save this link too for those that have to catch the recording who can't get it in the chat. I wanted to do one last announcement that next week our team call is not going to be on the normal day of Tuesday. It's actually going to be on Monday at 8 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. What time? 6 o'clock California time. Thanks, Dana. We have Autumn on the call for Monday for Diesel Nation, talking about country heat. So I know that I really try to help us really focus on getting together once a week, learning something, but also not taking up every day of your week, because that can be cause a lot of issues in marriages and feeling overwhelmed if you're on a call every night. So anyways, I am not having a call Tuesday night, but Monday night it would be really great if you got on the call, because we have a really great relationship with Autumn, and it really started when Christina was in the 21 Day Fix test group back in 2013, and she has helped us through Hammer and Chisel when Becky was in there, and now Country Heat. We actually have Katie Green, who's part of Diesel Nation, is in the test group, but Autumn has become our friend, and she's very helpful to our team. So Country Heat, I'll tell you, I done it 3 times now. I did the sneak preview yesterday, and anybody who knows, they don't like to dance. I don't have rhythm or coordination. I tried size. I will say I did not like it. It wasn't for me. However, I will give it props because it did actually help me a little bit with get a little more rhythm than I had before, which it was not much then. But I did this Country Heat, and it's really a lot of very similar moves from size. I recognize them, but they're at a much slower rate. And obviously we've only done the one preview, so I don't really know what the whole package is like. But I've talked to Katie. My friend Lori Stewart was in the first test group. She has lost so much weight doing it. It's just been incredible. Katie's lost, I think, 12 pounds, and both of them don't like to dance and don't like country. And so they did it. And so I'm really kind of eager to hear what Autumn has to say and hear, the story about it. And here's the deal. I'm not going to try to sell Country Heat on you, but I feel like if you're trying to make this a business, I hear coaches say all the time, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to buy it. Oh, that's not for me. And it doesn't have to be about you don't have to love it. You don't have to do every program out there, but when you say those things publicly or within our team page, others pick up on that. And so, people want to be accepted. And I think that our team, we do a pretty good job of we are very, loving. But, when you make disparaging comments about programs like that, other people who are excited could possibly, I haven't heard this, but I know how people are. Be like, oh, well, they said it kind of sucked, so, maybe I shouldn't do it. So have an open mind. Get on the call. Maybe you'll hear something that surprises you. And overall, even if you don't buy it, even if you are, dead set in the middle of, trying to do Body Beast and, get ready for Beast Classic next year, whatever you have going on, find out about the programs, because if you only have limited information about a limited number of programs that we have to offer, you are limiting yourself to the people that will only fit those programs. So the thing is, get excited about this. Yesterday I did the sneak preview because there was the Country Heat contest, the hashtag thing, and I want to do it. But I always do these things and do videos of me doing it because I want to build the enthusiasm. And I actually had somebody say, oh, when does this come out? I'm interested. And it was somebody that I didn't even think would be interested. So the thing is, don't prejudge a program where it limits you and, some of the people that maybe haven't been connected to you on the programs you've been doing or the programs that have released since you've been a coach, but may love Country Heat. And also having people on our team and people we know who said, I don't like, dancing, I don't like country, but I love this, and here's these results. It's a great thing. What I noticed is I burned a lot of calories doing Country Heat, and that's one thing Lori Stewart said. She was in the Insanity Max 30 test group, and she found that, and she's like me, she doesn't sweat a lot, and people, sometimes think, oh, well, you didn't get a good workout in, but her heart rate was going so high, it was causing a lot of issues, and she wasn't seeing the results that she saw when she's been doing Country Heat. She's lost 30 pounds and looks amazing, and she said her heart rate never got crazy sky high, and it just stayed even, and that was really what she needed to not have a totally extreme program. So anyways, I hope that you guys can make it on and just take what I said with a grain of salt, that learn the programs, get excited about it. I got very excited about 21 Day Fix, and I spent about 2 months doing nothing but researching and talking and posting and doing blog posts and calls and stuff about 21 Day Fix, where I ended up with 130 Success Club points from 21 Day Fix because I started planning months in advance. So use those for things, especially ones that you think are going to be game changers. And I do think Country Heat is going to be a game changer because I saw that it was slower and it wasn't so much choreographed stuff like with size. and it's just fun. So it may be a big game changer for all for people you're working with. Does anybody have any other questions? Did you guys want to? I know a lot of you who are on this call right now are in the rank advancement group that we're in. So we have a little bit of time. We're right at the half an hour mark. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, things they want clarified, things we need to celebrate? I hate being the only one talking on these calls. Somebody, please.
I'll talk.
Okay.
Oh, Kristen, you can talk.
I just wanted to say thank you so much. I haven't actually added any new coaches to my team yet, but I have 4 new customers this week, and I've built some really strong relationships online. So I feel like it's been a slow cultivating journey, but I feel like slow is actually strong. So kind of take it at a very different pace, as you can probably tell with Melissa. She's been really patient with me. But I just wanted to say thank you, and all of the accountability posts you've been posting. I don't always get to them right away, but I really appreciate it, and it gives me something to look forward to through the day. Well,
thank you. That's good to hear. I hear that all the time from a lot of people who say, I'm moving at a different pace, slower than this or that, and that's the beauty about this business, is that we really don't, we want to see everybody just take their dreams and run with them and do amazing things, of course. But we don't have any predetermined, sets of we expect you to go this fast, advance here. We can tell you that some people have advanced to Emerald in a day. Some people have advanced to Diamond in, 30 some odd days, like Lindsay Sims. But those are just statistics, and those are just based on it. So we don't ever have any predetermined notion for you. So, you're going at the pace that works for you, and you're still here, and you're smiling, and you're showing up. And whenever I'm giving you these, accountability things like Transformation Tuesday, a Throwback Thursday, a opportunity post on, Sunday night or Monday morning, it's really just a guideline, because I realize now that I was in the beginning just kind of throwing shit on the wall, and it actually worked. But now I'm trying to get into a system, because I found that the people who are watching you, if they know that you have a system, they may not be ready this month or this week, but they may be next month. So if you've noticed, is what I've been doing also for the team, for newer people like you, even who, may not feel comfortable doing a coach opportunity call, but I have something consistent so that you can invite people to it, and so that I can invite people to it. So if you notice, I've been doing a clean eating group once a month. I've been doing a coach opportunity webinar once a month, a 5-day sneak peek once a month, and so there's things, when you have a system like that, you're not having to guess. And that's one thing that I got from the Amy Dover, who was on a couple calls ago, where she said that most people market, and I don't remember what she word, but basically hustle whenever they're running low on funds and they're in the end of the month with Success Club, and then that's when the business isn't fun. So if you create a marketing plan and you have something, that's great. And so you're in the beginning stages of your business, and so at least you're going in now as a new coach knowing what you're working towards. So obviously you are trying to take on a lot of information, start your journey, get to know our team, and the fact that you just leap right into this training group is absolutely amazing. I love how many new coaches just jumped right in, but I'm hoping that you do pick up a system that's going to help you in the future. And I watched you, and I watched everybody. This is the best group that I've ever ran. And I think that's just because I've gotten better over time and seen what's worked and not worked. And trust me, I've had a lot of failures with groups, but we're in week 3, and I'm seeing really good progress. And that's what I was telling my husband last night. I'm seeing some of you guys that there's so much progress there. I'm not even focusing on recruiting right now. If you've noticed, I haven't asked you guys, how many coaches have you recruited? I don't even think I've said it, other than the first day where I said we had the Excel spreadsheet you can do. But I'm seeing that you guys are stepping outside of your comfort zone, that you're cheering each other on, and that you're answering each other's questions. And then I'm seeing the interaction outside of the group. And for me, that is really what I want, is a team that's unified, and that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, even if it's just an itty bitty toe at a time, or you're taking giant leaps. But the fact that you're showing up for the calls, showing up for the assignments, and still here 3 weeks later. So I'm glad that I'm helping you, and you're helping me. And I think that you're going at just the perfect pace. So thank you too. Robin, what did you have to say or ask?
I don't remember what I was going to say, but after hearing Kristen, I just want you to know, Kristen, I've only had 2 customers and 0 coaches, so don't worry, you're doing fine. I am struggling a little bit with, I'm starting building relationships, and I'm adding new people, and I'm being in contact, but I really am still struggling with getting over the hurdle of having the actual conversation, directly inviting. That's my biggest issue at this point. But I'm doing the Kristen method of the slow build. So I'm not really looking at it as like it's a problem. I'm more looking at it as like maybe my timeline's a little bit longer. So do you have any tips for me to like try to get past that? Maybe other people can would help them too?
Well, one thing that I said, and I think you were on the call before, so I may be repeating myself to you, but I confessed on one of the calls this last month here in June, and I'm sorry if it's bugging you guys, but this whole like aspirin on my sting is just so distracting to me. I feel like putting an eye patch on. But anyways,
it's kind of amazing to watch, actually. Like it's
I'm like looking at myself, I'm like, God, it's horrible. What I was saying was I promised myself whenever I started this group that you guys were in for rank advancement, that I was going to do exactly what I told you to do, because I've never had to do the inviting, because I've always had a strong presence on social media, and not everybody has had that. So I started doing exactly what I've been telling you to do. So I understand how scary it is, because you think that even me being in this business for 4.5 years, people following me, you think it would be easy, but like it's pretty scary. So, but it's one of those things that once it gets done, it gets done. I think about the other day, somebody asked me at a store if I wanted a credit card. Somebody asked me the other day if I wanted dessert, and I was like, no. And they're like, oh, okay. And that's basically what we're doing with people, is we're just asking them something that they have the liberty to say yes or no. And then, what one person I asked today about the coach opportunity, and she was like, I'm totally supportive of what you do, because I did basically what I've been telling you guys to do. Somebody likes your post, like, thank you for the support and, sending positive vibes. I wasn't sure. And I've actually kicked it up a notch, because I'm really trying to push myself out of my comfort zone. But I've been sending little voice reports saying thanks for liking my post. I'm like, so you hear my enthusiasm, and just, it's kind of scary. And it's also just so much simpler than trying to type or copy and paste. But I've been saying, thanks for, supporting me and, showing me love. I was wondering if, you just hit like by accident, or if you were supporting me, or if you've actually been wondering what I do as a coach. And then one person said, I think what you do is amazing. She was like, I have a friend that is a Beachbody coach, and I just don't think it's for me. And so then I asked her, I was like, well, that's awesome. That's cool. I'm like, thanks for the feedback. I appreciate your support. May I ask why you feel it's not for you, just so that I know what other people are thinking in the future. So the thing is, I was brave enough to ask, and whether she responds to me or not, even if she never responds to me, or just says I'm not at liberty to say, or I don't want to tell you, my life's going to still go on. I'm still going to show up, tomorrow. And so when you look at it that way, but I thought that, for the sake of research, could you give me your input? When you look at it that way, that when people tell you no, you can look at it 2 ways. That's usually what people are afraid of, is the no. So you can figure, if you invite somebody and you hear the word no, you can either be like, wow, so what did I do wrong? I know that the other day I invited somebody to be a coach, and I just started to build a relationship with him, and I went blah, 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 at them, something I know not to do. I got so excited because he had so much potential, and he loves Beachbody programs. He's lost 45 pounds, so I thought instantly, and I was just like, have you ever decided thought about being a coach? And he's like, I don't even know what it is. I'm like, can I send you a video? Oh, you would be great at it. And then he was like, then he just went quiet. And then I'm like, so right then I was like, it's not that I'm a psyche coach. It's that I got, Beachbody drunk, like Charlie called it. Or if you have the balls, like I did today, to be like, hey, I'm just kind of wondering why you said no. Then you can use it as like research, as information, so that maybe this person can give you insight into what some people, not all people, are thinking. And so the next time when you go to invite somebody else, you can already come up with an invitation that already like handles that objection, because most people's objections are literally based on information that they just assumed and made up, like, because most people don't even really know what we do. So when you look at it at those scenarios of hearing no. That way, I think it makes it easier, at least it has for me. And when you realize what you're giving to people, that it's a gift, it seems easier. But, you know, this is one thing that I told Kristen, I think on the call, on our coffee hour talk call thing, maybe, I don't know, whatever. But I told her that, you know, obviously I've been posting my Teamsy thing just for accountability. Because I'm doing that because a lot of times people are like, oh my God, how do you always hit Success Club 20 every month? Well, if you look at my numbers, and I've been doing that all along, that makes sense. So then when other people are like, well, I'm barely hitting Success Club 5, why do you always hit this much? Well, looking at the numbers now that we have the Teamsy thing, that makes sense. And that's why I want people to not compare themselves. And I told you this too, Robin, that if you don't feel comfortable right now doing stuff, then just set it as one. Invite one person a day. You know, and then if one day you're feeling super, super confident, then invite the hell out of people, and then it will kind of make up for the couple days that you may not. You know, because like when we went to Port A for Rebel's birthday, there was 2 whole days, and Sunday for Father's Day, I didn't invite anybody. I really didn't even do any coach like posts, but I worked my ass off those other 5 or 6 days in the week, so it kind of made up for it. You know, so just as long as it balances out and as long as the number gets higher, you know what I mean? Like if for the next month you only invite one person a day or one person every other day because that's what you're comfortable with, cool. But like a year from now, if you're still doing that, then we got a problem. And I don't think that that's going to happen. But I think that it all comes down to setting your numbers for what you're comfortable with and also what your time schedule allows and, you know, where you're at. So those are the only tips that I had. But the thing is, don't get caught up on trying to invite the 3 that we suggest and do 0. Just focus on the 1 and, you know, keep moving from there. And the basis behind it is we want to help as many people as possible. And then 2 is because not everybody's in that mindset that they're ready to do this, you know. Like for me, I've been on my journey for 4.5 years. It wasn't until like 8 months ago that I decided I'm going to cut alcohol out so I could really get great results. And now I'm on my way to my 6-pack that I was looking for 4.5 years ago, but I was ready, you know. And for some people, they're just not ready right now. So the thing is, you can't rely on that one person you were talking to every day for a week. But if you talk to a new person every day, every week, every month, then over time, eventually people are going to come around if you're still here. And so that's the basis of having consistent numbers, is because of that. And it's just a law of numbers. If you ask 10 people, you might get one yes, you might get one maybe, you might get one on the 15th, and then nothing happens. But the next day you might 10 people and then you get a yes. You know, you just never know. I hope that answers.
Yeah, like I'm really good at like adding friends. My list is growing and having a conversation with them, but it's not, I just don't feel comfortable. Like, I've just met this person this week. I'm not going to immediately be like, hey, look at what I do. If they come to me and say something, then sure. And that has happened a couple of times. That's great. But, you know, because like you and I have talked about, I'm definitely working like a cold market situation because hey, Hunter, quiet. Sorry, my puppy. I am, you know, I'm still just have that thing where I don't want to like go after people that have already seen me sort of go through this before.
Right.
So, which I'm working on getting over it. They keep popping up in my Teamsy, like who to contact list. So I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just send this message. And mostly I'm just starting off with like, oh, hey, haven't talked to you in a while. Just want to say hi. I saw this was going on. Like I see Kristen's message here that she sent to her friend that she hasn't seen in a year. That's an amazing message. And I'm like, I'm going to duplicate that. You did a great job. I love it.
You know, and the whole connect thing, I think people think that you need to, you know, invite every time, but it's really just a, hey girl, how are you? So like the way I look at it was that I had a huge social media presence and you're doing a really good job at posting some really epic posts, some really deep posts, some posts that really tell a story. But when you do that and then you reach out to somebody just being like, hey girl, I saw that your kid had a birthday, or you just got a puppy, I just got a puppy, something like that, then most people will be like, yeah, and I've been seeing what you were doing, tell me about this. So that's why I've always succeeded, is I've always been such an open book and shared openly about my feelings, what I'm doing. And so then when I reached out to people, then I was giving them an open door to come to me, because most people aren't going to say, hey, what are you doing exactly? And they're not going to comment below and say, oh yeah, I want more information about your free clean eating. They really aren't. Like, I mean, I remember when I friended Becky and she messaged me, she's like, thanks for the friend request. If you need any, health or fitness, help, just let me know. Boy, I needed it more than ever. And I was like, oh, I'm good. Thanks. And then it took 3 days before I said anything to her. So, I know that people won't do that. So just the thing is, I know that you can succeed with and get around the inviting for a while by being very open on Facebook and then reaching out to people like, hey girl, hey, or, and how you doing? And then the more you show an interest in these people and get to know them, and it's not I'm just going to show interest in you until you say yes to my clean eating. You're wanting to build these deep relationships with people, because they're going to be part of your family, part of your team. They're going to be the people that you're going to cry over when you watch them, set the goal to come home to their family. So the thing is, you're going to want to consistently do that, over and over and over and over again. And then you're going to get to know them. And along the way, you're going to learn a lot about them and a lot about yourself. And, that's really the key. And so, I would just not get so hung up about the invitation part as just making conversation and commenting on their posts. So when these people are coming up on your Teamsy thing, they just reach out to them like, what have you been up to? We haven't talked since high school, whatever it is, just like a normal conversation. I guess the way I would say this is, if you were walking through Target pushing a shopping cart, or say you were at an airport flying out to go on a trip and you ran into somebody, so it's obviously a local person or somebody from your past, what would you say to them? I mean, it's kind of like that. That's basically what Facebook is like. And it's kind of like what Jessica Campbell says. You need to make sure that what you're posting on Facebook or messaging aren't things that you wouldn't do in person. Like, you wouldn't stand in the grocery store and start pulling out all your Shakeology flyers and be like, here, do this, have this. And that's basically what I've done in the past, and other people have done in the past on Facebook. So, it's having the etiquette of that, and I posted today in one of leader group, that one guy that messaged me the other day on Instagram telling me that he can guarantee all this level of success and blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you all saw that. And then I said, I'm a two-time elite coach. I know who Lindsay Matway is, and your approach is very, I don't know what I said. I don't know what I said. I just basically told him this approach was, a major turnoff. Well, he wrote me back telling me to go back under my rock from Asia and call me a bitch and all this stuff. And I'm just like, wow, I'm so, there's, I don't even remember where I was going with that, but, when you're going to run across a bunch of different people who have different approaches, just do what you can. That makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And I think that what you're saying is totally right. Like, I have noticed that I've been making these posts, and people have, like, when I do say, oh, hey, how are you? What's going on? Whatever. If it's somebody that's in my warm market, they always are saying like, oh, your posts have been so amazing and inspiring and stuff. And I think that's where I choke up and freeze, because I don't want to be that beach body drunk person where I'm like, I have all this stuff. So I'm kind of like, oh, thanks. Okay. Oh, so what else is going on with you? Because I don't want it to come across as like, I'm only talking to you for this end goal. Right. And what's weird is, like, today, for some reason, the universe threw a whole bunch of shit at me online of, oh, why is people only friending me to sell me something? I just hate people that are in pyramid schemes. Why is everything in MLM? Like, it just was coming at me from like every direction. And I keep thinking about that You Are a Badass book, where she's like, when you're about to succeed, like, all this shit is going to happen. So I'm just like, okay, like, this is what's happening. Like, let's just keep going forward, because I finished 10X today. And I'm just like, what's that?
That's what Grant Cardone said in one of the last chapters, was what when you're about ready to succeed, when people start coming out of the woodwork.
When they're like, they're criticizing you, they're telling you that everything you're doing is wrong and bad and yada, yada. And like, these aren't people necessarily specifically pointed at me, although a couple of them felt that way. But I was just like, okay, Jen Sincero said that. Grant Cardone said that. And I've already just decided I'm changing up and just going fucking balls to the walls as hard as I can, everything I need to do, because I am not going to this is what's happening for me. I've just decided it. And
the way I look at it is like you're quoting Grant Cardone, Jen Sincero, success, success, success. I don't even know who you're talking about, but I guarantee you, if you probably looked at that person's life who was saying little snarky things, they're not anybody to base anything off of. They probably not done anything extraordinary. And that's what I always look at. Like, who are you to judge? What experience do you have in this? And, the one person who was like my biggest hater, who like talked about me publicly, like bashed me, tagged other people, was ugly for a long time. She she was in the insurance industry, quit her job, and then now last I checked, she was working in our grocery store, making like $8 or $9 an hour. Now I don't even think she's there, and she's still unhappy. And she was the one who said, "We don't have to do a Beachbody challenge. I go and get the Walmart, DVDs for $5 or $7. Your stuff is so stupid." And she was just like belligerent, and I'm like, and I look at her life now, and I'm like, had I quit because of what you said, where would I be? You're still exactly where you were, really negative and in a funk, and I'm over here having fun, So
yeah, I mean, the proof is right here. Like, you're the proof, and I totally believe it. So I'm sorry, everybody else. I could just sit here and talk to Mindy like all night long.
One thing that I was gonna say to all of you is like, there's not one of us that hasn't seen somebody post some shitty thing about shakes, about Beachbody, about MLMs, about salespeople, or had people actually say rude stuff to our face or behind our back. So what I do is basically, you don't want to maybe do it like an hour after it, so it shows up like on top of their post and in somebody else's news feed that has mutual friends. But think about what they say, and usually you're like, what the hell? You don't even know what you're talking about. You're wrong. So then formulate that into a post in later on, like a couple days later, where you're basically battling that objection, but by just telling your story. So you're not arguing with that person. You're not saying that, oh, you're a dumbass for saying this, you're wrong, but you do that. If you've noticed, like some of the stuff that I post, I haven't done it a lot recently, but, I'll say stuff that like basically battles people's wonderment and their objections, so that whenever I reach out to them, then I'm like, oh, didn't you just see my post the other day? And I said that to somebody last night. It was actually totally unrelated to Beachbody. It's somebody that I'm working with, but he was talking about mental health, and that he was having issues with his medications, and I was like, well, you saw. I'm like, did you see my post today about like all my medications I take, like 10 pills a day? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, did you think that I was a loser or weak? Because that's what he was saying, or like that about himself. I'm like, that I was dependent on it. And he was like, no. And then then he was like, oh, I see where you're going with this. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, if you wouldn't say that to yourself or to me, don't feel that way. You're no different. So when you have those posts, and then even if you've had this post that was in reply to somebody else, and then a week later another person gives you objection, I always say, like, oh my God, can I share with you a post that I had that I talked exactly about this the other day? And they're like, oh, because that happened the other day about somebody saying like, oh, I'm not a shake person. Like, what do you mean you're not a shake person? Like I ask people, because most people are like, oh, I don't know. And people say like, I don't like pyramid schemes. I'm like, do you even know what a pyramid scheme is? And most people don't. So the thing is, asking questions is a great way to have a rebuttal without being argumentative, and you'll get better at it. And the thing is, just remember, more about this business, about the products, than any of them. They're basing their decision on some lousy experience they had with another company. Like one person compared Shakeology to, when I asked her what she meant when she said she didn't like shakes, and she was like, well, I drank that pink drink. I'm guessing she's talking about Plexus, but I didn't even think that was a shake. I think that's just thing you mix up. But then I was like, gave her like my little short dissertation of what Shakeology was. She's like, oh, okay. And then I had somebody else the other day who said, I don't know about Shakeology. It's very expensive. And I said, well, I know a lot of people look at the sticker price, but most people don't buy 30 meals at a time. And then she's like, well, I just don't think I can drink it because I'm, lactose intolerant and I have IBS. And then somebody the other day said they had Crohn's. And I'm like, well, the great thing about it is that will actually help you with it and blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, oh, so as you can see, the reasons why people told me no about Shakeology were completely invalid, and actually Shakeology is exactly what they needed. So, just make sure that you always have a plan of what you're going to say when somebody gives you an objection. There's the objections document in the Coach Online office. So anyways.
Mindy, I have had huge success with breastfeeding moms and Shakeology right now.
Really?
I've had a couple people that they're brand new moms and their babies are super colicky and constipated and they're just like at their wit's end and they want to try something new. And so they've been going with the vegan Shakeology and it's been helping with colic because it doesn't have the soy and the lactose. And they've been like super happy and they've actually become some of my like most committed HD customers. So I don't know. I was thinking about posting something about that later tomorrow during a more optimal time. But I mean, I'm not trying to say that Shakeology is a magic pill for everyone, but I thought that was really unique because it's not a situation that I'm experiencing. But for some reason, that's been like a connection that I've had lately.
Well, Shakeology is like 17 years too late because Haley had colic for 15 months and I put her on every formula ever. Like, that would have been so great to have a long time ago. Just an FYI, make sure that you Google or type in the frequent asked question, the compliance top 10, and that you add the statement about the, I don't remember the words. I always have to copy and paste it. But whenever you're making any medical claims, make sure you put that at the end. It's just a formality. It saves our ass. It saves the company. But that is amazing. I actually, people always say that, like, but I'm breastfeeding or I'm pregnant. And I'm just like, dude, if you knew what most people put in their bodies, like, they don't question. I just don't get how people question this. Like somebody said the other day that, their friend was drinking this GNC and stuff, and she saw my video where I was like, there's soy in it and sucralose and all this stuff in there. But then she was talking about Shakeology to her friend, and then her friend's like, well, I want to see what's in there. And then she was like, well, what you're drinking has soy and this is bad. She's like, well, I don't really care about that now. It's just funny that people will look so deeply into Shakeology but will not think twice about a $7 meal driving through McDonald's. I just have yet to understand that. So for me, the tip that I wanted to share like about target market is that I really started to think about when I started to care about my health, and it wasn't until I was about 28 or 29 and a mom. And I think that and the mom became part of it. So, I have been making sure that when I'm doing any Facebook stuff on my fan page, that I'm gearing it towards, like, I'm locking it in like 29 to 45 because over 45 I don't have as much in common with at this point in my life, but I've been honing it in. So, having my market there. Obviously, I do have some customers that are younger than that and older than that, but that's really my target market and those are the ones I want to work with because I found that the people under 29, they buy it and then they don't stick with it because they don't care about their health. They just, want to look good for the summer. Anyways, that was my tip. Anything else? Well, you guys are all doing an amazing job. I'm glad to hear that some of you have finished the Grant Cardone book. That was really great. I'm going to be like Adam, and I think I'm going to listen to that over and over and over and over and over and over again. My biggest thing now is I have this is the other book that was on my list to start in June. So I'm happy to say that I'm going to check that off my list. I'm going to start it in June. But, like, there's no one to read it to me.
Too.
Huh?
I'm starting that one tonight, too.
Yeah, but there's nobody to read this to me. So I don't know when I'm going to finish it. I suck at reading books.
Do you want me to read it to you over the messenger, Mindy?
You should do that. That would be really kind of you. Oh, there's pictures in here. Honestly, I bought this. Oh, they have big letters in there. Oh, that's not that bad. Yeah. How many pages is it? Shit. Oh my God, there's like almost 200 pages. Reading is my nemesis. So, like, Audible is my BFF. So I'm going to need a lot of you to help hold me accountable. Robin, you can be my accountability partner when it comes to PD if we're both reading, because
I'm going to be on your ass about this book every single day. And then maybe if I'm good at that, then that'll help me be good at being on the ass of other people.
That's going to be your slogan, good on the ass of others. All right, guys.
You're going to be my success story. I made Mindy read every single day, like actual read words.
Oh, I'm already dreading it. I'm actually, the accountability is great because all day long I came in and out of my office and, and all I'd gotten was like a workout in and a red wasp sting, but I'd not gotten this book. It's been in my back of my head, but being on this call made me think, okay, I need to grab it and I'm going to put it on my bedside table. So,
okay, Robin, have you read it?
What would you say if I was the one saying, I don't want to read this book, Mindy? You'd be like, you need to read like 5 or 10 pages a day.
I think it's a chapter a day. The chapters don't look that bad.
Okay.
And
I haven't looked at how long the chapters are. So if you feel like you can do a chapter today, I think that you should do it.
Oh yeah, they're actually called rounds, not chapters. And I really think that you could do it. And that's one thing that it was shared in the beginning of our group was only do a chapter a day, because so many people are in such a rush to finish things, to be like, I'm finished, but then you don't retain it. And so that's like, I went through like a chapter or sometimes 2 chapters at the most, because some of the chapters were short on the 10x rule, but having that, having the ability to just do 1 chapter at a time, I retained a lot more of it.
Yeah, I've actually like been reading it and listening to it and kind of staggering back and forth, like the same chapters, reading and listening, and that really helped me too. So I'll listen to my own recordings of me reading jab, 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 hook to you.
You should do that. You should do that. All right, guys. Don't forget our call is next Monday instead of Tuesday.
Thanks, Mindy.
Bye.
Bye.